Trump endangers veterans again and calls cautious Americans pussies as coronavirus deaths top 100,000.
Well, nothing.
Beaches were crowded on Memorial Day as Americans stopped giving a shit. Biden emerges from his cave, and SpaceX might launch a rocket today. Who the fuck knows anymore? All this and more this week in Old News. Yesterday marked one of the darkest days in our nation's history. The grim milestone of 100,000 American lives lost to the coronavirus. In a moment of cruel irony, some of the final numbers came in on Memorial Day, the day when we remember those we lost in times of war.
We mourn alongside every single family that has lost loved ones.
Flags flew half-staff at the White House to honor those we lost in this clash with the invisible enemy. And how did Americans honor this day of mourning? By getting back to normal.
This is truly the Wild West. It went from kind of a lockdown to just total chaos.
Instead of remembering, we're intentionally forgetting.
Just think people should have sunscreen, hand sanitizer.
We've got quarantine fatigue, which means folks are starting to not give a shit.
I notice a lot of people aren't wearing masks. I'm also not, which is pretty bad.
Lots of social distancing there. Hard to eat a hot dog with a mask on, am I right? In fact, there's so many people at the beach. A common sight is people at the beach complaining about all the people at the beach. Impeached President and moving water balloon Donald Trump honored the dead by trying to add to their numbers by once again endangering elderly veterans at a visit to Fort McHenry. He wore no protective equipment, nor did anybody there, as trying not to kill one another continues to become a partisan issue. He then continued his Memorial Day respect by going on a Twitter rant, where among other asshole things like attacking old rivals and retweeting this, he shared another tweet that made fun of Democratic presidential nominee and Crypt Keeper stand-in Joe Biden for wearing the face mask his own administration, as well as the rest of the entire world, has been suggesting we wear to keep each other safe. That's right, Joe Biden crept out of his basement, where he's been living like an involuntary celibate Monday morning, in his first public appearance since March, to honor fallen soldiers. Biden and his entire entourage wore black face masks, proving that he's a responsible adult, and that once again, the only thing making him cool are his accessories. But in recent polls, 60% of Americans say they now wear face masks every time they leave the house. And 80% of Americans say they wear a mask at least some of the time. And the impeached president just called all of them pussies. So why is it important to wear a mask? Let's find out. As you walk around outside, you may notice that almost everyone is wearing a mask. But some people aren't wearing masks. Why is that?
So I woke up in a free country.
Perhaps it's because of the examples they see.
Well, I just don't want to wear one myself. It's a recommendation. They recommend it.
Well, if the president isn't going to wear a mask, why should I? Because you should listen to doctors and experts, not senile real estate developers thrust into a job they were never trained for. But Mr. Doctor, I'm young and healthy. Why should I wear a mask?
The information that we got is that people can transmit COVID-19 without even realizing that they have it. And the face masks, which aren't super good at protecting you from other people, are actually pretty decent at protecting other people from you if you have COVID-19.
That's right, children. When you cover your mouth, you're less likely to release germs when you cough, sneeze, or hold a conversation. Wearing a mask is a sign of respect. The mask does little to protect you, but a whole lot to protect your friends and neighbors. So remember, kids, if you don't wear a mask, you don't look strong. You look like an asshole. 3 weeks ago, we ran a story about the bumbling connection between Donald Trump, Vladimir Putin, and Jair Bolsonaro. Trump, Putin, and Bolsonaro have very similar plans of action. Of course, we all know the three leaders have been very close since their string of feel-good movies in the 90s. Well, we here at Old News would like to declare, we fucking called it. Also, we spent entirely too long making those posters, so we had to show them again. Trump, Putin, and Bolsonaro now run the top 3 countries for coronavirus infections. Oh, there's no better feeling than being right about a bunch of dead people. And there's nothing classier than bragging about it. In other news, disgraced president and at this point likely serial killer Donald Trump bullied the North Carolina Republican convention yesterday morning with threats that he would move the convention unless the state's Democratic governor will allow it to operate at full capacity. Trump wants a packed house in a state that already has over 24,000 cases of the coronavirus in his attempt to be elected by whoever's left. Weather permitting, we might launch astronauts into space with a SpaceX rocket today at 4 p.m. This will be the first time America put people into space since 2011. We've been hitching a ride with Russians for 9 years. It's a huge milestone for American engineering. Again, we hope this continues, given Elon Musk's recent battle with reality. We're all pulling for you, Elon. Joe Biden got a little too comfortable this week when he said,
"If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black,"
causing backlash from his own party. But he apologized for being a wise guy. And also, it's okay. His best friend is black. And finally, after new studies in health and economics affected by the coronavirus, a hero emerges, giving the world a case of Reefer Madness. Turns out high levels of CBD may help prevent infection. Sales are surging, causing Congress to fast-track cannabis banking. And tax from recreational marijuana sales are giving some states a breath of fresh air. States with legal weed are calling it an essential industry. And now we see why. Also, what's better to do during a lockdown than smoke a bunch of weed, grab a couple of bowls of Captain Crunch, curl up in a Snuggie, and binge watch the Great British Baking Show? That guy is high as shit. Could marijuana save our lives and our economy? Only time will tell, but we're suggesting that everybody do their own research. And as you know, television goes off the air this time every night. Join us again tomorrow morning for Howdy Doody.